All right, let's dive right into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're doing something a little bit different today, and honestly, it's incredibly fascinating. We are taking an exclusive look under the hood of a massive multi-million-dollar Silicon Valley-style pitch. The target of this pitch? Amtrak, and the goal is to completely modernize the technological brain of America's passenger railway. So we're going to break down this strategic proposal from Titan Software Inc. that pitches a super sci-fi sounding Amtrak Cognitive Rail System, or ACRS for short. We're going to look at the tech, the strategy, and most importantly, the enormous financial playbook hiding right behind it. But to understand where we're going, we really have to understand where we currently are, and that is 1981. This isn't just a fun historical footnote, it's literally the architectural heritage of Amtrak's core reservation and ticketing engine, which is known as Arrow. Built on IBM macro assembler and mainframe transaction processing, this system is over 40 years old. Now let's give credit where credit is due here. The durability of this mainframe is an absolute engineering marvel. It has reliably moved millions of Americans across the country for decades. But as Titan's pitch rightly points out, keeping a 1981 brain running in the 2020s, well, that means shrinking talent pools, soaring costs, and a system that just fundamentally cannot adapt to modern demands like mobile-first booking or real-time analytics. The exact wording of this quote from Titan's CEO, Dmitry Treshchan, is a total masterclass in B2B diplomacy. Notice how he doesn't just walk in and say, hey, your system is broken and terrible. No, he acknowledges its reliability. He literally says it still works well. But then he delivers the fatal flaw. It was never designed for cloud-native AI operations. And that is the Trojan horse of this entire pitch. Titan isn't selling a repair job, they're selling a fundamental shift in how the railway operates. They're setting up a problem that only a completely new AI-first architecture can solve. So the absolutely crucial point here is understanding what Titan actually means by a new architecture. You see, most companies do what's called a lift and shift. They take the old 1981 logic and basically just copy-paste it to the cloud. Titan argues that just relocates the problem. Their ACRS proposal is an AI-first foundation. We aren't just talking about swapping out some old servers here. We are talking about reimagining operations from the ground up. We're moving from static fixed schedules to AI-assisted scheduling. We're upgrading from simple digital tickets to full-blown biometric passenger identity. It's a massive leap from reactive maintenance, fixing things only when they break, to predictive maintenance powered by AI. And that leads us to one of the absolute coolest parts of their proposed architecture, the digital twin. Imagine a real-time virtual simulation of the entire rail network. If you're an executive or an operations manager, you don't have to just react to a delayed train anymore. With a digital twin, you can literally ask the system, hey, what happens to the whole network if train 92 is delayed by 15 minutes? The system then simulates the platform conflicts, the crew impact, and all those annoying passenger bottlenecks before you ever make a single decision. It basically gives non-technical leaders a superpower to foresee and mitigate disruptions. Section 1, the passenger experience. Your face is the ticket. So while that back-end architecture is fantastic for executives, Titan also introduces this really tangible consumer layer called BioGate. Walk through this incredibly seamless 5-step journey with me. Step 1, you buy your ticket on your phone, just like you always do. Step 2 is where it gets crazy. You opt in to enroll your face right there via the app. When you arrive at the station for Step 3, there is absolutely no fumbling for a paper ticket or a QL code. Step 4, you walk right up to the BioGate, it scans your face in under a single second, and Step 5, you're on the train. We're talking sub-second boarding speed. Just imagine the impact this would have on those massive, stressful bottlenecks at places like New York Penn Station during rush hour. Now, of course, the second you say the words facial recognition, privacy alarms immediately go off, right? While Titan anticipates this perfectly in their pitch, they make it crystal clear that BioGate is strictly an opt-in convenience layer. And more importantly, they aren't just storing a creepy folder full of passenger JPEGs somewhere. The biometric data is fully encrypted and stored purely as mathematical templates. Plus, it is 100% deletable by the passenger at any time. They basically frame this as a non-negotiable design requirement for operating in public transit, squashing those privacy objections before they even have a chance to start. Section 2. Meet Victoria, the AI assistant. Titan wants to integrate AI into every single interaction within the rail network, effectively killing off clunky menus and confusing dashboards for good. Just look at how incredibly versatile this single AI layer is. For a passenger, Victoria can instantly tell you where your gate is, or maybe handle a super complex ticket change, and do it in multiple languages. For a station worker who asks, hey, why is train 182 delayed? Victoria instantly pulls crew status and equipment issues without that worker having to hunt through 3 different legacy systems. And for the CEO, they can literally just ask Victoria, show me today's Northeast Corridor revenue, and get an instant dollars and cents answer. It is one unified brain serving the passenger, the staff, and the executive suite, all at the exact same time. Section 3. The Trojan Horse Rollout Strategy. Having the best tech in the world means absolutely nothing if you can't actually sell it to a risk-averse government entity. And this is exactly where Titan utilizes a classic Trojan horse rollout. They are very specifically not asking for a $250 million enterprise-wide check up front. That just carries way too much execution risk. Instead, Phase 1 is just a 3 to 6 month proof of concept at a single pilot station. If it fails, Amtrak is only out a modest discovery budget. No big deal. If it works, they move to Phase 2, a pilot corridor. Only after proving undeniable success there do they initiate Phase 3, the full nationwide rollout. It makes the pitch incredibly attractive and low risk for Amtrak executives because they get to test drive the future without buying the whole car on day one. Okay, here is where we need to execute a hard pivot. We've talked about the flashy consumer tech, the smooth boarding, the cool AI assistant. But let's look at the real engine of this proposal. How does Titan actually make its money? Because honestly, this pitch document isn't just for Amtrak. It's also highly designed for Titan's investors. And the financial playbook hiding inside this proposal is absolutely staggering. To truly grasp the scale of what Titan is going after here, we need to quickly define a corporate term, TAM, or Total Addressable Market. Put simply, this is the total revenue opportunity available if your product achieves 100% market share. Titan isn't just building this software for Amtrak. They are building a general-purpose, cloud-native identity platform. Amtrak is just the high-profile reference client they desperately need to prove that it works in the real world. And when you look at the TAM breakdown, the numbers are just eye-watering. U.S. passenger rail, that's an $8 billion market. U.S. subways and metros, try $20 billion. Airports, $35 billion. Add in stadiums, seaports, and international rail, and Titan is looking at a total addressable market of roughly $128 billion. If Titan can successfully modernize Amtrak's 1981 mainframe, they instantly have the credibility to turn around and sell this exact same system to literally every airport, subway, and stadium on the planet. But let's bring this back to the Amtrak deal specifically for a second. 655. That is the estimated number of biometric physical gates Titan calculates would be needed for just 12 of Amtrak's major flagship stations alone. We're talking places like New York Penn, Chicago Union, and LA Union Station. The sheer hardware scale of physical gates required across a national network is just massive. And here is the absolute genius of their business model. The estimated cost of a single one of those gates totals about $76,500. Now you might be thinking, wow, those cameras must be insanely expensive. Nope. The physical hardware, the cameras, and the installation actually make up just over $11,000 of that total cost. So what about the remaining $65,000 per gate? That is pure ASCRS software licensing and configuration. Titan is literally using the physical hardware as a Trojan horse to sell incredibly high-margin software licenses. It is brilliant. When you scale that kind of math up to a 100-station rollout, the projections show roughly $790 million in total revenue for Titan, and $500 million of that is just from the ACRS software. This single contract would completely transform Titan from a standard technology consultancy firm into a massive B2B software giant overnight. And guess what? It gets even better for Titan's investors. Because it's not just a one-time payout. Titan estimates $250,000 in recurring annual SaaS, that's software as a service, revenue per station, year after year. That's for keeping the Victoria AI running, pushing cloud updates, and maintaining security. Across 100 stations, that is $25 million in predictable recurring revenue every single year. For a software company, that is the holy grail. Now, I know exactly what you're thinking right now. We just looked at an almost $800 million price tag. How on earth can a government-funded entity like Amtrak possibly justify dropping that kind of money, even if it is over a phased timeline? Well, Titan has done the math on Amtrak's side of the ledger too, and it is pretty compelling. You have to remember, modernizing isn't just an expense, it's an investment. Titan estimates that ACRS will generate between $110 million and $230 million in annual savings and net new revenue for Amtrak. Just retiring that super expensive 1981 mainframe support saves up to $35 million a year. Using AI for predictive maintenance, fixing the trains before they even break, saves up to $40 million. And introducing dynamic ticket pricing, very similar to how airlines do it, well, that could boost revenue by up to $60 million annually. When you factor in all those hundreds of millions in operational savings and revenue boosts, that massive upfront price tag suddenly changes context entirely. Titan estimates the payback period for Amtrak to be just 4.5 years. Within less than half a decade, the system essentially pays for itself, which makes this expensive tech upgrade not just some cool sci-fi vanity project, but a completely rational, mathematically sound financial decision for the railway. Which finally brings us to the endgame for Titan's investors. Once they secure this Amtrak contract and lock in that sweet recurring SaaS revenue, what exactly happens next? Well, they outlined 3 crystal-clear exit strategies. Get acquired by a massive defense or transit giant who desperately wants their biometric tech, go public with an IPO based on those incredible software margins, or just simply remain a highly profitable private platform. It is a B2B investor's absolute dream scenario, beautifully laid out right at the end of the pitch. So, we are left with a pretty fascinating question to ponder here. We've seen the 40-year-old legacy code, the cutting-edge facial recognition, and the brilliant, highly lucrative software strategy hidden inside physical boarding gates. Can a 1981 railway brain truly serve as the catalyst to build an AI blueprint for the entire modern transit world? Because if Titan's pitch is successful, your next train ticket won't just get you from point A to point B. It'll be the first step in a $100 billion technological revolution. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. I really hope this breakdown gave you a whole new perspective on the invisible B2B machinery running our world. Catch you next time.